I'm planning on making my basket 7 strips wide, 5 strips deep, and about 4 strips to 5 strips high. So for this I cut like 18 to 20 of these. These are 1-inch wide strips of fast to fuse or something like that. It's a heavy interfacing, kind of like Timtex, but it's got a fusible on both sides. So I've cut about, and it's about 21 inches wide. So I cut about 20 strips. I may need more, we'll see. I'm going to use 3 different types of fabric. I'm going to use this to make the bottom of the basket and this to do the sides of the basket. So I'm picking 3 different fabrics, about a ½ yard each. So this is the one I'm going to make the handle out of, and the 7 sides that goes on the 7. So I have cut 4 strips 2½ inches wide. For the part that goes around, I'm cut another 6 strips 2½ inches wide. And then for the short side, I have used this fabric again, 2½ inches wide, and I only cut like 3 of them. Okay, so, another thing you're going to need is I have a piece of foam core that I have just put just a grid in, just a crosshairs in the center, about a ½ inch off center. So I'm going to use this to help me line it up when I start to weave the strips. So the first thing we need to do is that we need to take all of these and press 1/4 inch and just press all these. Okay, and after you press them, actually you can press both sides. Okay, because mine is a little bit too narrow, so what you do is you take your strip, or take your long strip, cut your selvage edges off and cut it in half, and then it's just wide enough to go on this small strip. So what I do is this, okay, this is double, it's got fusible on both sides. So I'm going to lay my iron to the side like this, because I just want it to barely come over. Okay, and just stick it down. Don't touch that iron to anything but the fabric. Come along, keep going, and just roll it up so that it's just barely touching. And see, now that's stuck. That's fused. And I'll finish this strip. I'll do it on speed. Okay. Then I will turn it over, and I'm going to pull it. I'll start it at one end, and I'm just going to go about halfway and fuse. But I've got it nice and pulled nice and tight. And then one more pass, because now I'm going to turn over this right to the edge. And then press this down. Now this is the handle piece, okay? So I've come to the end here, okay? So because this is the handle and this part's going to be underneath, so what you're going to do is just simply butt one up against the other and just seal it in and just keep on going. If you are not intending on doing any of the stitching on the basket, then you could actually just go ahead and start weaving after you have these strips done. However, I would like it to be a little more firm, so I'm going to give this an edge stitch. Actually, I'm going to use like a nice blanket stitch to give it a little bit of a decorative edge on it. Or you could use any decorative stitch. And I will meet you at the machine. Okay, so now I have made all my strips. I have made 7 of what I call the short green. In other words, I took the fabric from selvage to selvage, and it's cut in half. So I'm going to lay these in place. I have my foam core, and it has a crosshair right through the middle of it, although I have offset it by a 1/2 inch. Actually, the center is right here. I am placing these on the grid so that the part with the seam is facing towards me. 2. Once I have one set up, I can do them all. Here's 3. Actually, I'm going to pin this one in place. Pin it on either side. Okay, so that it's relatively straight. Put these on either side. So once you have one in the middle, you want to put them about 1/8 of an inch apart. I'm just pinning into the foam core. I've also got a pressing mat behind here also. 3, so a 3 on either side of it. There we go. Now I'm going to start with the one that is the handle. And the handle, 1, 2, 3, yep, right here. Okay, here's the center. Where is the center here? Put in the middle, right there. Okay, just going to pin the center. I'm going to put this under here. And under here. You want to get this first one right. Okay. I'll get this right in the middle. Then you want to cut little 1/2 inch pieces of steamosine and get your tweezer. And I'm going to slip these, put this under, put this one under here, and this under here. Okay, get them nice, and then take your iron, and you want to have the steam on it, if at all possible, and heat set this down. Give it a good press, like at least a good 10-15 second press to adhere the adhesive. Okay, and I'm going to do the other side. And this goes under here, under here. Then you just heat set them down. Okay, now this first row, I usually will just pin the whole row in. Mostly because this first one is the most unstable. It'll get more stable as you start to add the rows. Okay, so the next one I'm going to put in opposite. I want to find the middle, and I didn't do that before, so I'm just going to take the ends, scoot it down a little bit. Okay, make sure that goes in nice and straight, or as straight as possible. Then I'm going to pin this end back down. Okay. Slip in the little pieces of steamosine under these rows. You don't have to use steamosine. Actually, if you like, you can use a glue, you know, like Aleene's glue, or any fusible web, any kind of glue, E6000 glue, liquid stitch, any of these types of glues. And once again, once you get these nice and straight and pushed as close together as possible, they're not going to go right up against each other, but as long as they're close enough, then I'm going to heat set this down. About a good 10, depends on, read the manufacturer on the fusible, or if you're using Aleene's glue, you need to leave it overnight. If you're using E6000 glue, only a few minutes will be fine. any of these be fine. This is only temporary anyway because you're going to get more stability as you sew the outer perimeter. Okay, and then I'm going to put the 5 rows. So 2 will go here and 2 more will go here. Okay, and then we'll stop after it's woven, then we will stop and do a little bit more sewing. So I will be right back as soon as I have woven all of these together. All right, I have woven all of the strips, and I even had a few extra strips, so I just decided to make this square instead of rectangular, just because I had those extra strips. So now we're going to get ready to weave the sides, but before we do that, I need to go to the sewing machine. And I'm going to stitch all the way around, just a straight stitch along the edges, just to secure everything down. Now, if you use the glue, then you don't really need to do that. That you will be fine with just gluing it. But if you have glued it, let it sit overnight before you go to this next step. Okay, I have finished this outer edge. I have stitched around the edge so that it's nice and secure. Okay, I need to carefully measure this length. And let's see, they come out to be, let's see, 7 3/4. That one is a little more, so I would say 7 7/8 for an average. And 7 7/8. And 7 7/8. So and that makes a total of 31.5 inches. I'll probably give it an extra maybe 1/4 inch. So I'll make it 31 3/4. I'm giving it an extra 1/4 of an inch to go around the corners. So I need to measure all of these at 31 3/4 inches. So what I did was I went ahead and prepared the the side strips the same way I did before, where I have just folded it over and did the edge stitching with that shell stitch on the edge. So it's finished exactly the same. So now I need to measure this at 31 3/4 inches. So I need it. Let me get chalk. Yeah. 31 3/4 inches. Comes out to be right here. Okay, and I am going to simply cut it straight across. I'm going to take these 2 ends on the inside, and let me make this a nice good cut. And I'm going to butt these up one against the other and zigzag them together with just simple zigzag, about a 2 millimeter wide. Probably make it fairly thick. So I will be right back. Okay, now I've got it just simply zigzag together. Now I need to mark it. So I know this one is going to go up. Okay, so I'm going to want to hide that seam there. So I'm going to bring it over here and I'm going to mark a corner. Okay. Now I'm going to measure 7 7/8 from each of these corners. Here we go. There's one. So I know where the other corner goes. And 7 7/8 here to here. And I'm marking all of them. And let me check this last side. So I'm going to start with the side that does not have the handle, just because that makes it easier. And where's that piece? Here it is. Okay, I'm going to start to put this together. I'm going to put this here and up. First one is the hardest to do. Okay, This one goes under. Or actually, I think pins would be easier. Just to stab it in, and this one comes out. And that didn't hold. Okay, I'm pinning this. There. And this, and pin this one. And my pins. Clips I'll use in a minute. I just need to pin this for now. This one goes over top. That's a good one. Here. This goes under. Before I cut the other ones, I want to make sure that they're all going to fit okay. So as long as I get the bottom one done, okay, that's good. Okay, and I'm going to now go over to this side, the opposite side. All right, be the same on this side. So I'm going to come over here. This one isn't out. It should be the same as the one opposite. That one's out, this one's out. So every other one, I'm just going to put them inside. I only have the one taped in, okay? Take it on this side. All right, this one is an in. Okay, it looks kind of rough right now. Okay. So that actually, I'm just going to sort of leave that in there loosely, and I just want to determine if this fit is right, because it may be too loose. We will see. No, I think it's, and you can tell because I'm just going to pin this right here. On the corners. Those work. Pin the corners. I just want to check this by pinning it. Actually, this fits pretty well. Okay, so I'm going to measure all of them at 31 3/4. I have 2 more. And haven't decided if we're going to make it 3 or actually it's going to be 4. So these first 3 go like this. Then there'll be another one for the top. And I think that's going to be plenty tall enough. Okay, and now we're ready for the next round. Alrighty, so I'm going to again, let's see, this one's going to go opposite. I'm going to start on the side without the handle. It makes it a little less confusing. Okay, so okay, I'm going to go to this next to the last one. Put this in. And then this goes inside. Okay, pin it. I mean, this is only tentative. And we're good here. All right, I'm going to do the opposite side. Okay, and I have made a mark where it's supposed to go. Here we go. That's going to go here. So this is going to go, nope, inside. Okay, this goes in. What I did is I found the same spot, the corner, so it told me where to go. I'm not going to worry about smushing these down yet until I get all of them in. Okay, this one, and in here, and here. Okay, and now this side, so this comes so now I can start to adjust these a little bit. Can move and adjust the pins, especially on the ends. Mostly I think I'm just going to pin the corners here. said would get the corners and the rest seemed to follow. And then I will put the next round on. Same thing. I found if you just mark the opposite, you'll be fine. So I'm just marking a mark here for the opposite side, and I'm just going to pick a spot. And usually I'm going to pick it on like the first place it goes under. That's got one, so one that doesn't have it, I'll try this side. Right here, this one is going to go like that, so I will put this in this corner right here. On the corner one, straighten all that out. Okay, this one goes under. Okay. And now I'll go to the opposite corner here, and I will put this mark right there under the center of the corner. Actually, I think that makes a nice size handle. What do you think? I think that makes a nice size handle here. So we'll do the handle at the very end. Okay, I'm going to adjust all of these, get them all just right, pull them all, pin them all, and then we'll take care of the top. And see, it's starting to take shape. All right, that's going to be the handle. And then I'll get these secured in just a bit. We have one more row to go. So as I tighten these and get them all nice and square, then I will be back when I'm ready to start the top. Okay, to prepare this for the very top layer, which is going to be another double row of pink. But what we want to do first is I want to transfer all these pins to the inside over here. Okay, then I'm going to take a straight stitch. I'm going to go to the machine and working one side at a time. I'm just going about a ½ inch above. I'm going to push these together as close together as I can and sew each side separately, back tacking at each of the corners. Okay, so I have started right here at this end. I'm going to grab these pins as they come. Just going to leave these straight and just stitch. Normal stitch length, straight stitch. This will just link them together. Remember, I'm only worried about one side at a time. And once I come to this edge, I'm going to just back tack it. This is standing up nice and straight. Okay, and I'll make sure I have all these pins out. So again, I'm going to position this. And I have to smush it, I have to smush it. It's okay. And the second side is done. And see, that's holding it together. Okay, so I'm going to do the other two sides off camera. I have already just stitched all these together. So what I'm going to do now is that I do want to glue this. This top layer is going to get glued down. So wherever I see, I'm just using ordinary Elmer's glue. You can use the washable school glue, but I'm just going to use regular. And don't use a whole lot. But fabric needs extra time to glue together. So here's the top. I'm going to just fold this down over top of it, and I'm going to clip it in place. Okay, same thing with this one. I'm just going to reach inside, put a little maybe about the size of I don't know, just, I'll show you in a minute, to wipe any excess off, although it will dry clear. Okay, and fold it over and clip it. I'm really not going to use any more than that much glue. Just a tiny bit, not a whole lot. I want it to seep through both sides. So where that is sewn, I have to look on the inside, pull it open, and just put in a tiny bit of glue, fold it over, and clip or pin. I'm going to do that all the way around, and I'm going to leave it overnight. Oh, I almost forgot. Don't glue the handle sections. Just do all the other sections. Here's my basket. I let it dry overnight, and I had glued the top. So today we're going to be ready to put the top band on and my handles, and then this will be done. So what I want to do is to prepare 2 more strips of the same banding that we use this, or you could pick a different one. The same with 31 3/4 long by 2.5 inches wide, and I have my little 1-inch strips. And I'm going to need 2 and a little bit more because remember they have to be pieced. I'm going to seam this. So I'm going to put these right sides together because this is going to be both the inside and the outside of the band on the top. So I'm going to seam this and sew a 1/4 inch seam along this long edge. Okay, here I've pressed it open and from the wrong side. I actually cut it about 1/2 inch longer. I think I cut it 32 1/4 inches so that I could have a 1/4 inch seam so I could join these at the end. But I want to go ahead and attach this stuff. I'm going to start right at that line, right at the 1/4 inch line. I'm going to use an old piece of the paper from the Steam-A-Seam to press it into place. So I'm just going to, and I'm going to press about 1/8 of an inch away from the seam line. I'm just going to press this down using the steam. Time. I'll be right back as soon as I am done fusing this down. All right, I have fused one side down. Now I had to piece it right about here. Had to piece it right here where one ended. So on this opposite side, I don't want the piecing part to be at the same spot. I want it to be in a different spot. So what I'm going to do is start at this end on the opposite side, again sewing that just fusing that 1/8 of an inch from the end. Fuse it down, and this one takes 15 seconds about each time. Come here. Be careful not to get this on your iron. And then I will come back and show you what to do next. Again, that's about 1/8 of an inch from there's a seam right down in the center here. So I'm going to fuse this here. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, and that's good and fused down. And then I also fused it from the right side of the fabric, putting the press cloth on the bottom. I didn't stretch it as tightly as I did on these pieces, but you want them nice and fused. So this will be rather quick. Just be sure not to touch the other side until you're done and fuse it. Okay. Now the other side. I'm not worried about turning the other end in like we did on the straps, on the circular straps, because of the fact that this is the inside of the top edge. So it's not necessary. I'm going to now stitch about an 1/8 of an inch away, or a little scant 1/4 of an inch on either side, here, on all 4 edges. But one edge, I've decided I want to put lace on here. So I thought it would be cute to use this eyelet lace that I have. And I'm just going to stitch this right up underneath here as I sew that line down. So I probably am going to glue base this on here first. All right, here is my outer top band all finished. So I top stitched it here, 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 and here. And this is actually going to, we're going to cheat. We're not going to sew this on. We are simply going to glue it in place using a glue gun or the Aleene's glue or liquid stitch or something, but it will look like you've sewn it, and especially with that lace. So the first thing I need to do is everything except for the handles. Don't touch the handles. You want to cut these off about 1 inch above where the top band is. And just chop them all off. It's like cutting hair. Okay, I'd rather have it you cut not enough off than too much. So leave it at about 1 inch, 3/4 of an inch to 1 inch high. Okay. Now, you have to decide where you're going to put this seam, and I'm going to put my seams right here at the handles. So I'm going to mark this in half. Okay. Then I'm going to start placing it. Now I'm going to turn it right sides out. And the side without the lace, I'm just going to pin it in place for now, okay? And I want this, so this is going to be like right here. Okay, I'm going to just pin it for now because I'm going to get the glue gun out in a few minutes and we're going to glue this in place. And it's just like we're weaving, but we're going to stay all on the inside this time. I'm not pinning them all, I'm just pinning some, like every other one. Okay. I made that mark. We'll go on the opposite side of the handle on the other side, because this one is square. If you have a rectangular one, that's going to be a little bit different. So pin that there. So this is what it's sort of going to look like on the inside, but I'm going to glue that in a minute, and then after that's glued down, then we will glue the other side down. And just to get an idea what it's going to look like, it's going to look like this. And once it's glued down, you don't have to sew it again. If you want to, hey, be my guest, I would stitch right on top, but it's not going to be necessary. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is heat up my glue gun. Okay, now my glue gun is hot, so what I'm doing is I'm starting over by one of the handles. And every one I'm going to like reach in, because you don't want to burn yourself. Make sure you're using a glue if you're using a glue gun, make sure it's one that's compatible with fabric. Okay, and squash it till it's cool. You won't burn your fingers because there's plenty of padding here. Okay, the next one. You want to glue as close to this. Let me see. You want to glue as close to this line as you can, right here, along the bottom edge. But don't want it to seep out the other side, so just put a little glue here. Set it in place. Hold it for a second. Okay, and I'm going to remove the pins as I come to them. Oh, this one I didn't pin. Okay, that's fine. I'm not doing the strap just yet. That's pretty sturdy. Okay, remove that pin over here. Up a little higher, there we go. Okay. I'm going to do them all except for the handle first. Okay, I'm back where I started. Now I'm ready to fold this down, but first I'm going to remove the pin. I'm going to get my seam ripper. I'm not going to cut anything, but I'm going to unstitch this area just a little bit. Just enough to get the strap through. So I want to find stitching line and carefully unstitch that just a little. Keep pulling it till you can get that strap through. Okay, that should be far enough. Let me make sure we can get this through. Yep, but before I pull it, I'm going to give this a little bit of glue. There, hold it down. There. All right, do the same thing on the other side. This is good. This is now ready to flip over. So just fold it over. Come on. There. All right, now, could I leave it? Yeah, probably. However, no, I'm going to actually come in here with the glue gun, just starting at one corner and just sealing this edge down. You want to work quickly. There. Seal that edge. See, it's not coming out. Oh, this is awesome. And I don't have to top stitch this because I did it ahead of time. And I'm not getting burned. This is probably the first time I've ever done anything with a glue gun where I have not gotten burned. And you can be generous with the glue gun because it's going to all be inside. That is well glued. Might want to press the edges or just take a clip. Not a wonder clip, it's got to be some a little more substantial. And square these edges, or either that or take it to the iron, give it a good steam press to square off these edges. And this is done except for the handle. So now we have to determine how big do you want this handle. Okay, I think I want it like that, but one layer of this Timtex is too flimsy. So I am going to go cut another strip of Timtex and the pink, because now we're going to finish this off. So determine how big you want it. I'll be right back. Okay, here's my strap. My inner strap is what I call it. And I have top stitched everything to the wrong side, the side that's got the seam. On the basket side, since I'm putting these together, I'm going to take one end and I'm going to top stitch this towards the top side. The other one I'm going to top stitch downward. So see, this one's going up. This one will go down. Okay, I'm not going to butt them together. I'll show you what I'm going to do in a minute. Okay, on the part of the handle where it's top stitched towards the top, okay, that's where I'm going to start. Okay, I'm going to sort of fit this right, slide it right inside, okay? And if I have to, I will just put a little bead of glue in there, not much, just enough to hold the ends. You can stitch this down if you like, you don't have to. This is mostly to hide the top. And then you want to take something and just stuff it in there. And just stuff it inside, okay? Okay, then I'm going to just start taking some glue and carefully going up a little bit at a time. Okay, all right. All right, and now I'm just going to glue all of the rest. Except for right near the end, I'll leave, oops, too much glue. Okay, okay. Don't do the very top. Okay, do the same thing on this side. Again, I'm going to stuff it inside, give it a little bit of glue, not much. Just enough to hold the ends. Okay. And again, I'm going to start to glue. I just do a little at a time. Match these up. Okay. All right, this is turning out nice. Now, before I go too far, I know exactly, see on this top now, I know exactly how far it's going to go over, so I can do the rest of this piece. Okay. And then finish this. And now the center, and it overlaps, and that's okay. You could make it so that it meets, but I don't think it looks nice. I think it looks better if you just let it overlap. So I'm gonna, come on, I'm out of glue. Okay. I'll probably use my Wonder Clips to hold it. Hold it really good until it cools off. And I think I'll just put a nice bow over the top here. That is a nice, I like it, the handle doubled because it stands up. It'll hold a lot of weight because this one strap goes all the way underneath, so this should be able to hold quite a bit of weight. So there we have it. It's done. So anyway, I like this. This has been fun. Oh, here's the basket. Finished. I do like the way it turned out. If you have any questions, then send me an email at waltzquilt@yahoo.com, and I will see you next month for club. You're also welcome to join me on Thursday nights for our Thursday night mini classes. If you want an invitation to participate in our Zoom classes, send me an email request and I'll send you the link. If not, you can always watch us on our Facebook page, which is Sew Easy Sewing LLC Virginia, and I'll put a link in the description below. Thank you for watching. I will see you next week, or if not, I'll see you next month for club. Have a good week and happy Easter.